Hello, BookTube. This is a tag video. I've got it here on my phone so I can read the questions. This is Josh's potato chip book tag original. Josh's Literary Gladiators. I'll link his channel down below and the questions. I've done quite a few of these foodie tags. I still owe him one, which I will get to, Josh. But this one caught my eye, so I thought I'd do it because I was curious myself how I'd answer. So this is focused on potato chips. So he does this sort of thing. I remember, I think I started with the cheese one, which was great fun. So, and I think he said he has done 20 of them. So if you haven't done them or watched them, I recommend them highly. So the first question is, plain, a reliably good classic. So I stumbled around this old farmhouse for a while before I decided that we're going to go with Dragonflight by Anne McCaffrey, Volume 1 of the Dragon Riders of Pern. This was originally published in Analog magazine in the 1960s, mid-60s, I think. And those were the waning days of John W. Campbell, who was a legend and a problematic character. But I very much enjoyed these. I've read them several times, and most recently did a good portion of these books. I think we did 3 or 4 of them with Elena Macrodina over at her channel. So we had great fun. These became a bit of an industry after a while. So the next question is number 2, or the next prompt, which is Ripple, an accessible work from a dense writer. Now I chuckled when I read that, because is the writer dense or is his writing dense? So I'll leave it to you to decide in this case. And for that I picked A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man by James Joyce. This is readable, actually enjoyable. I struggled with Ulysses, and Finnegan's Wake, forget it. That's not even going to happen. This is a beautiful edition. So that would be Ripple. Sour Cream and Onion, a sequel that's just as good or better than the first. And I grabbed both volumes of these. This is the Belgariad. And it's David Eddings. Part 1 of it is Pawn of Prophecy, Queen of Sorcery, Magician's Gambit. Those 3 novels. Each is as good as the last. And then in the second volume, well, here I'll hold up the covers on each. And then in the second volume here, you have Castle of Wizardry and Enchanter's Endgame. So every one of these sequels, every one of these novels, absolutely loved. If you like fantasy, and you like to have a good series that's consistent all the way through, of high quality, then I would recommend these. Then, let me see, that was Sour Cream and Onion. Let's go to number 4, Barbecue, a character that can be both kind-hearted and tough. And this one came right to me. And that would be Captain Jack Aubrey, of the Aubrey and Maturin novels by Patrick O'Brian. This particular one's the first one, Master and Commander. These are the nice folio society editions. There's, I think, 20 of them. And papers. I love these novels. Absolutely love them. So, yeah, but he's a bit of a... The captain's a bit... He's kind-hearted. He's a bit inept on land, but boy, is he a tiger at sea. He's a tough guy. So, nice mix. Great novels. Okay, Salt and Vinegar. A work for an acquired taste, but it is worth a try. Now, this is from a writer I really enjoy. Not everybody does, but I really like him, and that's Roberto Colasso. This one happens to be The Marriage of Cadmus and Harmony. I think that in the English language, or English-speaking world, this is the one he first became really well known for. So what's that say? Alfred A. Knopf, 1993. Boy, time's flying, ain't it? So find a way to get you to an idea of how this works. Forming an active link in a chain that reaches back through Ovid's Metamorphosis directly to Homer, Roberto Colasso's re-exploration of fantastic fables we may think we know, explodes the entire world of Greek mythology, pieces it back together as it once must have been, and presents it to us as a new, astonishing, and utterly contemporary way. I'm having trouble speaking today. I really enjoyed this. I really enjoy most of his work, but maybe an acquired taste. Okay, number 6 is Lightly Salted, a great work that has a low dosage of a particular genre. And for me, that was this, A Canticle for Leibowitz. This came out, let's see, this is Walter M. Miller Jr., and it first came out, looks like 1959, and this paperback's from 2007. After the fall, the rebirth. In the depths of the Utah desert, long after the flame deluge has scoured the earth clean, a monk of the Order of St. Leibowitz has made a miraculous discovery. Holy relics from the life of the great saint himself, including the blessed blueprint, the sacred shopping list, and the hallowed shrine of the fallout shelter. In a terrifying age of darkness and decay, these artifacts could be the keys to mankind's salvation. But as the mystery at the core of the groundbreaking novel unfolds, it is the search itself, for meaning, for truth, for love, that offers hope for humanity's rebirth from the ashes. It's a science fiction novel, and a whole lot more. It's just wonderful. Okay, so next one is Cheese, a work that makes a scholarly topic accessible. For this, I picked one of my favorite authors of nonfiction, and that's Brian M. Fagan. And he is a working archaeologist out in California, I believe. And he synthesizes and popularizes archaeology from around the world. I think he's originally from Britain. And he has a shelf full of books. I have quite a few, but nowhere near all there are. And I love reading his stuff. He also wrote some books about sailing, I believe. He's an avid yachtsman. So if you see Brian M. Fagan around, no matter what the title is, it's usually worth grabbing. I think that was a piece of dust that went flying off that book. That's embarrassing. Let me see. Crisp, an addictive British writer. For me, I was able to grab a single volume. I've got a wall of her works, and isn't that a charming photograph? This is the Cadful Companion, The World of Brother Cadfile, by Ellis Peters. And I love the stories, the characters, the setting. It's a monastic setting. Maybe they got a little right up here, Louis. Let's see. Since the publication of A Morbid Taste for Bones in 1977, millions of readers throughout the world have been captivated and enthralled by the exploits and adventures of Brother Cadfile, the 12th century Welsh monk and herbalist of Shrewsbury Abbey, who uses his skills, knowledge, and considerable powers of deduction to solve murder mysteries. They are great fun. So if you haven't had a chance to read any of them, it might be worth a shot. So next is Chips with Fish, a book you would recommend for a feel-good book club. Well, I would recommend anything in this series. George Simenon, Maigret and the Wine Merchant is this one. It's actually a nice little hardback here. Who put this out? It's a classic mystery, 1971. Tess Press. Okay. Translated from the French by Eileen Ellenbogen. And the copyright 70, English translation copyright 1971. So, what are the circumstances and stresses that compel one person to murder another? This is acclaimed writer George Simon's constant question, one he answers in myriad ways in his brilliant police procedural mysteries featuring the legendary Inspector Maigret. Inspector Maigret is interrogating Theo Sternet, a young man who'd killed his own grandmother for a few francs, when a message comes in from the 17th that Oscar Chabot, a wealthy wine merchant, has been murdered in front of a Paris brothel. As Maigret probes the victim's past, he finds that Chabot was a compulsive womanizer with many enemies. Though he feels that the dead man richly deserved his fate, his training insists that he set a trap for the killer, a man who had, in Simon's inimitable and characteristic criminal portrait, reached his limit and stepped over the boundaries of acceptable social behavior. So, Simonin was a Belgian-born French novelist, very prolific writer. And then, let me see here. Chicken and Waffle, a work that tries to do too much. Well, that would be this little thing. It says Understanding Tolkien and Lord of the Rings by William Reddy. And it's a charming looking little book. It came out, this is from 1968, and it's horrible. Number one, in this many pages, are you really going to understand Tolkien and the Lord of the Rings? This many pages? And this book is a mess, but I keep it as a collector's item. And then we have Potato, an influential work that you feel is overlooked. Well, for me, it'd be almost anything by this writer. And that is, this is the memoir, An Improbable Life, Memoirs by Robert Kraft. A remarkable man who lived a remarkable life. Let's see. He started with a remarkable friendship with Stravinsky that would last until the composer's death in 1971. This story tells us of his improbable life before, during, and after his long collaboration with Stravinsky and residence in the Stravinsky household. Begins with the author's childhood in Kingston, New York, his time in New York Military Academy prep school in Cornwall-on-Hudson, and his entry into Juilliard, cut short by Army service. Soon Kraft's musical activities led him into his relationship with Stravinsky in Hollywood, New York, and elsewhere, all richly documented by Stravinsky's letters in Dear Bobsky section of the book. His improbable life becomes a whirlwind of international activity at the cutting edge of modern music and revival of early music, and in the companies of celebrities. By letter or in person, figures like Edwin Hubble, Aldous Huxley, Stephen Spender, T.S. Eliot, W.H. Auden, Pierre Boulez, Elliot Carter, and George Balanchine make their appearances. The whole chapter recreates, through Isaiah Berlin's letters to the author, the texture of the relationship between Stravinsky and Isaiah Berlin that began in London in December 1956 and led to Sir Isaiah's transliteration of the text of Abraham and Isaac for Stravinsky. In the section of the book entitled Surviving the Legacy, Kraft recounts, with his special flair for describing places and personalities, the adventures of the decades since the 70s. He and his wife Alva continue to this day their heavy schedule of international performance and exploration. His writings are wonderful, and obviously you can tell by that he's met some of the giants of the 20th century's art world, music, art, literature. And I always enjoy reading him. I have a lot of his books. This one was particularly good. His stuff with Stravinsky is also fantastic. And he did a wonderful travel book. So, yeah, Robert Kraft. And let's see here. Now, what's your favorite kind of potato chip? Oh, boy. I don't know. Sour cream and onion, I guess. I like the vinegar ones, too. Yeah, I like a lot of different kinds of potato chips. Not a big fan of barbecue. They taste too chemical. Is chemically? Yeah, I guess that's the word. If it's not, I just made it up. I don't like barbecue ones. All right, so let's see. I have to tag someone now. So let's go to my channel and let's pick out some names. So let's see. I'm going to say let's go with PK's Books. Let's see. Joe Reed's a new channel also. There's a couple new channels. I'll provide links to these down below so you can go check out these channels. Let's see. Todd's Bursting Bookcase. Let's see. And how about Joseph Francis Burton? So this was a fun tag. I enjoyed it very much. And thank you, BookTube.